Joining us now to discuss Marc Short, former Chief of Staff for Vice President Mike Pence. And Marc, let's remember, a 2021 U.S. intelligence report done during the Trump administration, released during the Biden administration, stated unequivocally that intelligence believes that MBS approved the operation to capture and kill journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who lived in the United States. As someone with a front row seat to the first administration, what do you make of this increasingly cozy Trump-MBS relationship?
Well, Jake, I think the Khashoggi incident was atrocious and it's hard to justify. But at the same time, I think we have to have a good relationship with Saudi Arabia because they can be allies and a moderating force amongst many Arab nations that are more radical. And so I think that we should applaud a relationship there. Having said that, I think that there are some things that we also have to pause and take a second look at. I think that there is obviously growing concern among many Americans about the $400 million jet from Qatar, and I think that there's valid reasons for that.
Well, tell me why you're concerned about that. Obviously, the Kingdom of Qatar, the royal family, has offered a $400 million jet, luxury craft, to be the new Air Force One. President Trump is understandably frustrated with Boeing's slow delivery of the one he ordered in his first administration. But why are you concerned about the Qatar offer?
I think that the president had a very strong policy toward the Middle East in the first administration. I think there was greater peace. I think that he isolated Iran. The maximum pressure Iran was successful. I think his partnership with Israel produced a lot of results for us, ultimately with Abraham Accords. And so I think his foreign policy has been good. And I think he deserves a lot of grace. And I think it's hard for Democrats right now to criticize in light of Hunter Biden's getting money from the communist Chinese and other foreign nations. Having said that, Jake, I think at the same time, if you're making $1 billion off of crypto and you're basically opening clubs here in D.C. at $500,000 membership, and now you're taking a plane valued at $400 million from a nation that has harbored Hamas and has funded terrorism against the West, It's hard to say you're draining the swamp at that point.
I want to listen to a little bit more of Trump's speech. This part is directed at MBS directly. Take a listen.
Mohammed, you sleep at night? How do you sleep? What a job. He tosses and turns like some of us. Tosses and turns all night. How do I make it even better all night? It's the ones that don't toss and turn. They're the ones that will never take you to the promised land, won't they? But you have done some job.
You've been in the room with Trump. You know his style, his technique. What do you make of all that?
I think that one's a little bit hard for me to translate, honestly, Jake. But look, I think that he knows that MBS has enormous power and control across the region, and I think he wants to have the friendship there. And again, I think if they're able to expand the Abraham Accords, it's something we should applaud. I just think that, again, some of the personal gifts to the family is something that we criticize the Biden administration for doing. So it looks a little bit
on a much smaller level, we should say.
Yeah.
I mean, Hunter Biden's sleaze, I'm not defending any of it, but like it wasn't $400 million.
It was not. It was, I think, obviously adversaries with China, but I do think that, I'm making the same point.
Yeah.
It's hypocritical.
Biden got a lot of criticism when he did a fist bump with MBS, and this is far beyond that.
Or Obama for bowing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And don't forget, George W. Bush held hands.
Yeah.
Every president ends up kowtowing one way or another, I suppose.
Well, I'm not sure that's all kowtowing, but I do think that, again, that the taking the jet of that value replacing Air Force One is a little bit startling.
Marc Short, always great to have you. Thanks so
Jake.
much for being here.